We're going to buy a manual. We got to buy a manual.
It's only every week.
Hey, when it comes to guys and instructions,
I don't know what
we don't read manuals.
Yeah,
you know
that's what it is.
We
Now
just
the instructions have always said fire aim, right? Isn't that the way it goes?
Yeah.
Fire aim.
Ask questions later.
Hooking up and tracking down 1130 The Tiger. I am Gary McCoy. Alongside me is the Ranger Pro Staffer, Daiwa Pro Staffer. He is Steve Graff. Our buddy Mike Eccles, he's the funny one. So there's not going to be any humor on the show today. Mike is somewhere in the middle of the career pirate today, wearing his little eye patch or something like that on a cruise. Hey, this segment brought to you by Bayou Outdoor Supercenter, Mustang Survival, Daiwa Rods and Reels, and BioBore Fuel Treatment. And we're going to get on the phone here in just a second. Bassmaster Bass Fest Elite Series Pro Matt Herron just finished third place. Where were they at?
Lake Chickamauga.
Is that Georgia?
Yeah. Steve, you got to call him right now.
Okay. We'll get him on the phone real quickly, but that's in Georgia.
Is it Georgia or Tennessee?
Okay.
Maybe Tennessee.
All right, I'm gonna take your word for it.
Well, ask Matt.
Okay.
I don't know.
All right, now question for you: when you get off to a lake like that, is that a reservoir?
Yeah, I think so. It's a Highlands Reservoir.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
great fishing. You know, Major League Bass Fishing did one of their events there. The quality, Gary, that comes out of that reservoir, you know, it may be Georgia. I don't know. We'll ask Matt. But anyway, the quality of the fishery is outstanding. It's just a great body of water.
We just don't know where it's at.
No, we just don't know where it's at. Somewhere either Tennessee or Georgia, I think.
Okay, well, while we're trying to get Matt on the phone, I want to remind you about something that's coming up this Saturday. First Baptist Church of Houghton, the Student Ministry Annual Sporting Clay Classic is this Saturday, 8 a.m. registration and the skills contest at Las Palomas Sporting Clay Range and Event Center near Benton. Tournament actually begins at 9 o'clock. Registration, $100 entry fee, or it's $400 for a team of 4. Trophies for the top 3 teams in youth, female, and male. Now, your $100 is going to cover your registration, a catered lunch, and refreshments. 15 stations, 100 total targets, all kinds of cool stuff. If you've got any questions, call Andrew Bates at First Baptist Houghton, 949-2441.
All right. I think we got Matt Herron on the phone, the Elite Series Pro and Santone Lures Pro Staffer. Matt, how you doing, buddy? Well, you're not hearing, Matt.
That's right.
Now Matt, you there?
Yes, sir. How are you this morning?
Oh, doing good, man. How you doing?
Doing great.
You got to settle a dispute for us. Is Chickamauga in Georgia or Tennessee?
Chickamauga's in Tennessee.
Okay.
So, what is a lake like that fish like? Is it essentially like a Toledo Bend?
You know, it's a Tennessee River lake.
Okay.
No, it doesn't fish like Toledo Bend. It fishes like the Tennessee River. The exception is as you go down the Tennessee River chain, the shallow water bite opportunity kind of goes away, except for specific times of the year. But the way the depth is and everything lays out, you know, you can catch a few fish shallow at Chickamauga throughout the year.
Mm-hmm. So, Matt, when you show up there, were you able to establish a game plan and then stick with that, or did you have to make some major adaptations as the tournament went through?
You know, I had to make some major adaptations. I really struggled in practice. And lakes like that, they're really dependent on the current when they generate power, and we just didn't get a lot of power through the practice period, and it made fishing really difficult. Just wasn't a lot of bites, and guys were whining, and everybody thought we was lying. But you know, because that thing's known to have such great fishing, but it was really hard in practice.
Yeah,
as the tournament went along, we started getting a little current, and the fishing got better.
Yeah, I was telling Gary, Matt, how I watched the Major League Bass Fishing. They had an event there, and it was just absolutely off the chart. The quality of fish they were catching there. And now, Matt, as far as you're concerned, you know, some fishermen. I, for one, you know, when it's a tough bite, I tend to do better in those kind of tournaments. Are you in that same category? Do you like a tough tournament bite?
Yeah, you know, I normally don't do real good in whack fish.
Yeah, I don't either.
I'm an old grinder, you know. I like to go out and fish for 6 or 7 bites a day and just kind of beat around. And when these guys can go get on big mega schools of fish and sit on them, I normally don't. I just I don't do well.
What would you? I mean, if you had to give out on a scale of 1 to 5 as far as the body of water goes, I mean, is it a 2? Is it a 5? How good is it, with 5 being the best?
Well, as far as quality fish goes, it's 5. I mean, it's got them.
Yeah.
It's amazing with the amount of pressure that lake gets. I mean, it's only probably a tenth of the size of Toledo Bend, and it's sitting right in the middle of a pretty large city, and with outlying suburbs that are pretty good. So that place gets pounded pretty good. And I mean, for it to hold up the way it's holding up and producing the quality of fish that it is, I mean, it's a really good fishery.
So what kind of pattern did you wind up getting on?
I junk fished.
Oh, did you really? Hey, that's right up Matt Herron's alley, baby. Hey, he can jump through the rest of them.
It's one of them. You had to do a little of this and a little of that, and just kind of mix it up. And just, I almost fished it the way I do some of these old Coosa River lakes at home. When you're not on a whole lot, I had a couple things happen during practice that really helped me. I kind of figured out how to catch, some keepers early. And I had 1 or 2 little areas I thought I could go catch 12, 13 pounds out of. And then I had 1 or 2 key places offshore that had some schools of fish on it. And days 1 and 2, that's kind of what I've done. And everything was related off the bank. I started off my mornings catching, some 2.5 pounders to kind of get the day going, with the intentions of letting the sun get up and they were generating water from after about 12:30, 1 o'clock. You'd get a little flow in the river. So then I would bounce out there and hit the 1 or 2 little key places that I had, and basically culled 3 or 4 of those fish. And once I done that, I mean, I could get that school to fire pretty quickly after the current got going. Right. And I would leave them alone. And I knew going into that deal that there are some quality fish that live on boat docks there. So I would,
right,
as soon as I felt like I didn't hurt what I was doing, I'd get to that 18-pound mark, I'd get off of it, and I'd go. I kept trying to expand on the dock bite. And on day 1, I caught a 7-pounder that kicked me up to 22, and on day 2, I caught a couple of 4-pounders that got me up there into that 21-pound range, just kind of mixing it up and get, a couple of key shallow bites. But then on day 3, they didn't run the current. I tried to go out and kind of repeat the process, and it didn't happen. And by about 9 o'clock, I bailed on it and went strictly dock fishing. That's, I really didn't realize the potential of what was under those docks, and I catch the biggest bag I catch all week.
Now,
isn't that great?
Yeah, that's usually how it
I
goes.
wish I'd have started here to begin with.
Yeah, were you able to get any kind of information in terms of current, when they were going to be generating or not generating? Was there a schedule you could call in and say, hey, well, you knew where to be at a certain time, or was it hit and miss?
It's online. It's TVA.com, but you really can't depend on it.
Yeah, it's unreliable.
Right. I mean, they got a website there, and they'll post it up, but it ain't real reliable on exactly, if just because they say they're going to turn it on at 1 o'clock, don't mean they're going to turn it on at 1 o'clock.
Right.
And, that's government, isn't it?
Yeah, that's government, yeah.
Well, the biggest thing that got me in this tournament, I've never left a tournament so dejected that I didn't win in my life. And I really thought going in, because Kevin and Jacob stumbled on Saturday. There was no current.
Mm-hmm.
And historically, TVA never runs current on Sunday. And I closed up the gap. I'm sitting, a pound behind Wheeler, and I said, boys, you're mine now. If they don't run more water tomorrow, I'm going to get you.
Well, I saw on Bass Tracks, matter of fact, Matt was leading it at one point, and I saw he had 4 fish in live well, and I think Jacob only had 1 or 2 in the live well, and he was only a pound ahead, so I knew that Matt really needed to catch a big sack to maintain that lead. But you made a run at it. I mean, you had them, I'm sure, shaking in their boots a little bit.
Well, they just the moon and the stars lined up for them boys, because the TVA turned some serious current on during the day, and they dropped the lake level about 8 inches, and it just destroyed the shallow bite.
Jacob Wheeler probably made a phone call, said, hey, you got to turn the water on.
Jacob or Kevin did. I ain't sure which one of them done.
Now, they can drop the water 8 inches during the tournament hours? That's how quick they can pull that lake down?
Yeah, but they can drop it a foot in 12 hours.
Yeah,
Wow.
Red River's same way on them lock and dam systems.
Wow.
They can drop that sucker when they want to.
Well, of course, Jacob won it 90.6 pounds, 125 grand. Kevin finished up second, 84.12 with 60 grand. And Matt finished up third, 83.15, $35,000. And still, you were kind of dejected because you thought, hey, I got this one in the bag when they don't generate current on Sunday.
Right. I mean, it just, when you're that close and you know the conditions are right and you don't win, I mean, it hurts.
Yeah.
And that one hurt.
Because wins are hard to come by now, aren't they, Matt? I mean, to get a win on the Elite Series right now, it's just it's incredibly how tough it is.
Yeah, it's incredible how tough it is, and you have to execute a perfect game plan. You either got to have a glory hole, one of them, and just you go through it every day and just wax food out of it, and it's a big mega school, or you have to execute a game plan. And my game plan was to try to find a little bit of stuff offshore for Thursday. For the first 2 days of the tournament, Tuesday, Wednesday. Wednesday and Thursday, excuse me. Just because I knew they were going to catch quality fish if they moved water.
Yeah.
And then I thought going into the weekend, historically speaking, they just don't regenerate a lot of current. And I thought that bite would be very, very hard because our first 2 days of practice with no current, it was brutal. I mean, you're sitting there looking at a hummingbird 11.99, and you see them, but you can't catch them.
You can't make them bite. Yeah. Now, did any Sandtone products come in that play for the sand swim jig or spinnerbait? Anything come into play for you?
Yeah, I caught some fish this week on a Sandtone football jig. I caught some fish on Sandtone piglet. It's amazing that old Power Fishing me, I had to resort to pulling out the old shaky head, the piglet.
Yeah, you had the fairy wine in your hand.
Yeah. I had to put the fairy worm on. Hey, day two, I weighed in 3-4 pounders on that fairy worm.
Hey, there you go, man. And, you just never know.
Well, I mean, I went to the one quality school of fish I had 3 times. I couldn't make a bite.
Yeah.
And I had been throwing just a 10-inch worm on one of them old hard heads and a wobble head, and I couldn't. That was my go-to bait, and then for whatever reason, they wouldn't bite.
Huh.
And I pulled out the old piglet and I fired them up. I mean, the whole deal. If you can ever get one to bite, you'll catch 3 or 4, and that was the deal. I mean,
right.
Trying to figure out how to get one fish to snap.
Right. Let's change.
What's crazy about? Go ahead.
Let's change gears real quick, Matt, before we have to let you go. One thing I want to know, the Toyota Angler of the Year stamp. Mark Davis is at the top of the leaderboard right now and had a sensational year up to this point. Now, here's the key to me. You guys are fixing to take that northern swing. Fixing to be 3 lakes coming up. The last 3 lakes are all up north. Does Mark have a chance to maintain his lead, or is Aaron Martin sitting in third or Greg Hackney in second? I would say right now, if I had to pick, Aaron Martin's has probably got a shot at getting his second or third Angler of the Year, doesn't he?
I don't know, man. Mark Davis is a tough old bird.
Yeah, he is.
Greg Hackney ain't no slouch.
No.
So, I'd say any one of those 3. And you got some lakes coming in there. It's kind of, I don't know, man. We got the Delaware River, and anytime that them boys can power fish, old Hackney's going to be right in the middle of it. Cayuga's going to be kind of a grass deal, and then you got that deal up there at Escanaba, and so I mean it's anybody's ball game. It's wide open because when you get to this level, them guys ain't got no weaknesses. They got some strengths, but they don't have no weaknesses.
Yeah, and you stump your toe now. You in just one day you stump your toe and you're in trouble.
Oh yeah, you can't have no bad day.
Yeah, that's right.
No, you can't have a bad day. Bad day now at this point in the game will kill you.
BASS Elite Pro Matt Herron on the phone. Just finished up third place, Chickamauga in Tennessee. And brother, congratulations! Made a nice payday there. And of course, good luck to you in the next 3 events as you start to head north up there. And a question for you on that: would you rather? At this time of the year, when it's hot like this, would you rather get on up north where maybe it's just a little bit cooler than what we are down here?
Yeah, I would, but it most of the time up there, we're not really going that far north. So we're not really going to get to see those cooler temperatures. You got to get on up there around the Canadian border, and pretty much, we're going to Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, right there on the Delaware River, and it's going to be pretty hot in August. And Cayuga's right there around Auburn, New York, and that's that's kind of low, lower state New York. So they get some pretty hot days. But yeah, I mean, I like that Canadian border deal, man. That's pretty nice in August to go up there and experience 50-degree mornings. That's heaven.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, ain't nothing wrong with that.
Well, brother, good luck. Hey, congratulations on this. That's pretty awesome.
Thank you, Matt.
Thanks, guys. Y'all have a good one.
All right. San Antonio Pro, Matt Herron.
You know what? I wanted so much to get a chance to visit with him about. I sometimes wonder at this juncture if those guys would rather go to a body of water they've never been to so that they don't stub their toe on old trivia of places that they've been a bunch.
And have a mindset.
I think a lot of times when you go into a brand new body of water, you're thinking, I got to learn this. Whereas sometimes, you want to go to those old haunts and they just don't produce.
Hey, Red River's a prime example from me. I know some guys, Trey Morgan, Trey, great, outstanding fisherman, one of the best fishermen in our area. And, Trey was in a tournament, EverStart years ago, and pretty much the tournament favorite, going in, 200 guys in this on the pro side. And I go up to Trey and I said, well, dude, how you feel? He said, well, I feel good. He said, Graf, the biggest problem here for me is I know too much.
Yeah.
And if they don't bite in my first couple of holes, I'm like, God, I should have started over there. I should have started over yonder.
Right.
I should have gone there. I should have gone here.
A lot of second guessing.
Yeah, you start second guessing yourself, and next thing you know too much. Instead of sticking it out and grinding it out in a couple of areas, you end up running all over the place and doing nothing. And so he's right about that. I'm the same way. I'm getting to where I'm the same way on Red River, especially in pool 3 and 4. I know so much. I question where do I need to really start and where do I need to spend most of my time. But anyway, it's
Hey, well, here's somebody that knows so much that it just pays off in spades.
Oh, no doubt.
Every time he goes. Johnny Geis, number one guide on Lake Fork. He is next, and he's killing him. Just texted us just a minute ago a picture of an 885 they just caught today.
Right.
Caught 30 fish yesterday. We're talking about all over 5 pounds. He's next with our Lake Fork report on hooking up and tracking down 11:30, The Tiger.
Toledo Fiberglass specializes in fiberglass restoration, offering fiberglass repair on all major brands of ski and bass boats. Al Drew and his staff will get you back on the water where you belong. Everything from metal flake scratches to recarpeting, Toledo Fiberglass can fix it. It's also home of the Gorilla Hull and the headquarters of the Minn Kota Talon Shallow Water Anchor System. So the next time you need fiberglass repairs or restoration, go see Toledo Fiberglass just off the Texas Highway or call 800-554-5452. You've heard the old saying, good things come to those who wait. Well, Natchitoches, the wait is over. John Abraham has just opened the best hunting and fishing store in Natchitoches. Cypress Knee Outdoors, located on Highway 6 west off I-49, has everything a hunter fisherman could want. Top name brands Zoom, Santone, Pelican, V&M, and the new Uzo baits, as well as hunting brands like Primos, Duck Commander, Hoyt, and Federal. So don't drive to Shreveport Ellick anymore. Go see the guys at Cypress Knee Outdoors or call them at 238-HUNT.
Welcome to the Natchitoches Shooting Range, where you can participate in many exciting activities, such as traps, skeet, 5-stand, sporting clays, cowboy action shoots, and many others. Individual memberships and family memberships are available, but the public is welcome. Come enjoy yourself at the Natchitoches Shooting Range on Tawson Island Road, just before the Grand Ecore Bridge.
Did you notice some brands sending out trophies from 2006 at boat shows this year? Really? That's like wearing your high school Letterman jacket to a job interview when you're 30. But if other brands are going to raise the issue of awards, no matter how old they may be, we're happy to join the conversation. When it comes to awards, Sea Ray is in a class all its own. Sea Ray is the most awarded boat brand ever. Bayou Outdoor Supercenter has yours waiting for you. Bayou Outdoor Supercenter is Louisiana's family-owned RV and marine dealer.
You're hooking up and tracking down on 1130 The Tiger. This segment presented by Nichols Department Stores, Toledo Fiberglass, Paul's Farm and Garden, and J&J Exterminating. Now back to the best outdoor radio show west of the Mississippi and east of the Rockies with Steve Graf, Gary McCoy, and the one and only Mike Eccles.
And, of course, Mike is not here this week. He's on a cruise. Was he going on a cruise with his wife, or was it a family thing?
I think they sent him off. I think they just tried to.
They asked him to leave the room.
Yeah, leave the country. That's what I think happened. I think Charlotte said, "You're out of here."
Well, Mike will be back with us next week. Of course, as he is every day this time of the year, getting our Lake Fork report now from Johnny Geis, and Johnny, just you're killing them again today, brother.
Well, it's a little bit slower today than it was yesterday, but I think this afternoon will turn on good. Boy, it was fun.
No, you're killing me and Mike. Me and Gary.
Yeah, because we know. I mean, we've been there.
Yeah,
we know
this.
how much fun this is.
Yeah.
We pulled in under one of these underwater bridges there yesterday, and wind's blowing pretty hard. I mean, we've got probably a 2 or 3 foot chop on the water, and pulled up to it, and every time we dropped down for about 15 minutes, it was just one after the other. So it can get wild when it gets like that.
Oh yeah, we've experienced that wildness. I mean, it's insane. I know I've gotten a lot of phone calls and people texting me wanting your number. And boy, John, I tell you what, you probably, I don't know, how many days are you guiding right now?
I have got but a couple of days off left on this month, but July is pretty open. I guess it's getting hot. People hadn't decided they want to come fishing yet, but the hotter it gets, the hotter this deep water fishing gets, because we still got fish finishing up shallow water and running brim beds that they're in shallow there, but all those fish will be loading up these holes, and I saw evidence of it yesterday.
Now, have you tried this technique at night, Johnny?
No, me and Rob Horn and his wife Sudette's fish with me today, and they're from Shreveport, and he fishes a good bit at night, and we committed to make a trip pretty soon to try that, because these fish are they've got to feed the same way at night. They might go shallow, I don't know, but we're going to try them the same way we're fishing now to see if they're in these underwater ridges and humps. But man, what an awesome morning it's been, guys.
Well, Johnny, when you start venturing off into something like this, obviously, if somebody was wanting to get hold of you, let's go ahead and get that phone number out there now.
Okay, good deal. It's 972-800-3882. Area code 972-800-3882, or lakeforkbigfish.com is my website.
And you're also on Facebook, Johnny Geis Fishing Guide, and constantly putting some pictures of the big fish that you guys are catching. I mean, you update that pretty much every day. Okay, do you guide on the weekends? I'm sure that's a big question.
Yes, I do. I try to, let the customers know when we're having the large tournament. So it's just best not to try to mix it up out there, because a lot of these deep structure holes, a lot of people are trying to fish those during the tournament, and the boats running up. The Skeeter owners had a tournament here, and they had 1,950 fishermen in it. So it was pretty crowded weekend.
Wow,
1,950.
That's like a city event.
3 days of running up and down the lake, and Monday morning I had a half-day trip, and I told the guys, I said, the lake kind of beat up pretty bad. We might have a slow day. We did. We only caught 5 fish, but they both caught their personal best, so it turned out to be okay. But by Tuesday, they rested up, and we were just talking about it. We're sitting here in a couple of places and haven't seen a boat come by, and Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday are the days to come to Lake Fork.
Fantastic. Oh, okay, now obviously, Johnny's forte right now this time of the year is the big old huge live brim, and I'm telling you, you're not going to believe how big these brim are. You're thinking to yourself, hey, we're not going to fish with these. We're fixing to fillet these suckers.
Yeah.
But it's amazing the size of fish that'll do that. And of course, there's all kinds of different variables that Johnny incorporates in to be able to pull up to the right spots to be able to catch. And that's that to me is the most impressive thing that you're going to get from a trip with Johnny is the knowledge, as you're looking down on that graph and Johnny's able to tell you, hey, there's 2 fish down there that look like they ought to bite, and then when you wind up catching both of them,
right,
I mean,
that's a testament to this guy knows what he's doing.
Amen.
Now, the other thing too.
Well, guys, the mapping that we got on electronics nowadays, and Rob now, he just got this new Skeeter Bay boat, and we're in his boat today for the next 2 days. Just the main reason is to learn how to use electronics and how we find them and why they're where they are. And we're just trying some new spots out here today. And okay, where do you think they ought to be? And sure enough, we'll pull up there and see the hooks on the graph, throw a buoy out, and start to catch fish. So if you learn to read that electronics and then understand what water level the fish seem to be ganging up in, it sure does shorten the search.
Now, Johnny, this time of year, the fishing tends to be a little more consistent, too. I mean, they get in that summer pattern now. They're in their summer haunts. They're in that deeper water and that cooler water. It stayed pretty steady like this for what, till late August?
It does right on through the end of August. And these hot summer days, the only thing that's been a little bit of challenge lately, we've really had some high southwest winds coming in. Had a little bit of thunderstorm blow up yesterday afternoon. But as far as consistency of water temperature and not any severe cold fronts that'll give you that dead day or two afterwards, it's settled down, and more fish are arriving deep. The shad are starting to ball up. We just left the cove down by the Sabine River Authority, and it was shad up 10 foot off the bottom for about 2 acres of them in there, and that's going to be a good place to fish this afternoon.
You know what? That brings up a question. I mean, just for the average angler that wanted to come up there and he wanted to catch, 50 fish in the day. Are there many schools of fish that come up on Lake Fork? Do you see a lot of schooling activity?
They do at certain times. I haven't seen that evidence of it yet. The shad, usually you'll start seeing them chasing big gizzard shads out, and those are the big fish. Now, the little ones and the white bass, they'll be schooling in roving schools, and about the time you get to them, they're down, and they're not really schooling on structure. They're more of just chasing the bait fish down. But what you want to find is the fish that come up on structure and the feed zone right then, and that's when you're catching fish.
So that's when you want to have that chug bug tied on or that spook and say, hey, chunk and wine, baby.
Absolutely, and I always got a big Czar spook on, and if they blow up, you can get you one out of that pile. But that's a lot more fun than fishing deep with live bait or jigs or worms. I'm going to fish topwaters if they're there, but they're not there, so I'm a catching guy. That's what I meant.
That was what I was going to ask you. Topwater bite. If you were headed out tomorrow morning and you wanted to fish for a couple of hours, topwater fishing, what are we going to throw?
I'm going to fish some lily pads. We don't have a lot of vegetation on the lake at all, but the lily pad fields in Glade Creek area and some up in Williams Creek, we're getting some good lily pads, and there's some bite fish catching on the frog right now, and nothing's more fun than throwing that spro frog on top of the lily pads or the Stanley hollow body. I can catch some good fish on that too.
Another thing too, folks, if you're looking to book a trip with Johnny, you don't have to bring nothing.
No.
Okay? He has got all the rods pre-rigged when you get there. Gary and I had a boatload full of rods and reels and tackle that never got touched.
He was like, hey, put that back in the truck.
Yeah. What are y'all bringing all that mess for? It's just clogging up my boat. But anyway, we brought our stuff and we didn't hardly touch anything. No. And I'm like, he's got everything you need, folks, for just a great day on the water. And especially this style of fishing that he's doing right now, trust me, you want him to rig it up anyway, because if you ain't got the right tackle and the right line and the right gear, these big fish you're pulling in, you won't get them in the boat.
And you know what, Johnny? I want to put another feather in your hat. Just the education that somebody's going to be able to pick up. If you want to take this and replicate it like on Sam Rayburn, Toledo Bend, any of the other big reservoirs around, just learning the tendencies, learning your graph, your electronics, and just learning how to fish with those big old brim.
Yeah, or black salties.
That is so worth the investment in that guide trip, just to be able to get that education, if for no other reason. Plus catching a 9-pounder makes it pretty nice too.
I think it's building your confidence is what's important. I mean, I know I get a trip every once in a while, and it's a little bit slow at first, and I feel a little pressure because I know they're there. I know they're going to turn on, and it's a timing deal. And as long as the customers stay with me, we'll catch them before the day is over. They're biting.
That is the gospel too.
Yeah, we can witness that ourselves.
Johnny, guys, give us that phone number one more time, bro.
Call me at 972-800-3882. Area code 972-800-3882. Give me a call, 2.5 hours out of Shreveport, and you can be catching some big ones.
Amen. Boy, he is not lying. Johnny Geist, Lake Fork, you better make that phone ring. And I'm telling you, when you go, make sure you take a kid with you. This is going to be the heaven for a kid to get out there. You take a young, 12, 13-year-old boy or girl that's never really caught a big old fish and let them catch 30 of them over 5 pounds in a day. Wow.
Johnny, I gave the matter of fact, the head football coach at Northwestern State, I talked to him last night. He wanted your number, so he will be giving you a call soon.
Great. Look forward to it. Thanks so much, guys. Y'all come back.
All right, man. Y'all go get them, Johnny.
Take care. All right. Bye-bye.
Stay close. Some outdoor outlaws from Texas. You're not going to believe this. That's next. Hooking up and tracking down 11:30. The Tiger.
One more
Welcome to the Natchitoches Shooting Range, where you can participate in many exciting activities, such as traps, skeet, 5-stand, sporting clays, cowboy action shoots, and many others. Individual memberships and family memberships are available, but the public is welcome. Come enjoy yourself at the Natchitoches Shooting Range on Tawson Island Road, just before the Grand Ecore Bridge. Too hot in the summer, too cold in the winter, and your heating and air conditioning system is burning holes in your paycheck? You need to call Luke at Guy Heating and Air.
Legendary quality. At Ranger, it's an unparalleled commitment to incredible strength. With the industry's only pull-truted transom, we don't rely on the upper deck to support the transom and motor. It's a difference so strong, we sliced off this rear deck to show its independence from the transom. From total performance to your peace of mind. Cut open the whole story at rangerstrong.com.
When I go shopping, I want camo, fishing tackle, guns, hunting gear, work clothes.
And when I go shopping, I want home decor, gifts, children's and baby clothes.
Fortunately, we can both get exactly what we need at the same place, Nichols.
All the name brands you can find in the big city without driving to the big city and paying big city prices.
Nichols, keeping folks happy since 1914.
You've heard the old saying, good things come to those who wait. Well, Natchitoches, the wait is over. John Abraham has just opened the best hunting and fishing store in Natchitoches. Cypress Knee Outdoors, located on Highway 6 west off I-49, has everything a hunter fisherman could want. Top name brands Zoom, Santone, Pelican, V&M, and the new Uzo baits, as well as hunting brands like Primos, Duck Commander, Hoyt, and Federal. So don't drive to Shreveport Ellick anymore. Go see the guys at Cypress Knee Outdoors or call them at 238-HUNT.
This segment presented by Toledo Bend Lake Country, Commercial Power Equipment, Ranger Boats, and Bob Seeley Outdoors, home of the $1 million Big Bass Splash. Take it away, guys.
Hey, thank you for spending the afternoon with us. Gary McCoy and the Ranger Pro staffer, Steve Graff here. Mike Eccles on vacation, taking a little cruise. I wonder if he's trying to fish off the back of the boat.
I bet that sucker looks like a lobster right now.
He's
probably miserable.
He's kind of light complected to begin with.
He's gonna come back cooked.
Thanks again to the BASS Elite Series Pro Matt Herron. He's already been on the show today. Of course, we've had just Johnny Geist a minute ago with our Lake Fork report.
Right.
Oh, and I want to thank Tiffany Lakowski again. She was on the show with us last week.
Yeah.
And I know you made this. She sang "Happy Birthday."
Yeah, I heard that
to Eccles.
Yeah,
on the radio.
I was impressed.
I'm telling you, right? I guarantee you that boy's feet have still not hit the ground. Time for some outdoor outlaws, Texas style. There we go.
There we go.
God love him.
Little outdoor outlaws music there.
Wasn't me. Wasn't me. 2 Taylor County game wardens received a call about a man at Lake Fort Phantom with undersized crappie. They began to patrol the lake, made contact with a man who said he had caught a few fish, but not many. Fish basket was located nearby that contained 7 crappie, 4 of which were undersized. The man claimed he leaves his basket at that location, and sometimes people generously leave fish in it for him.
That's classic. That's classic right there.
Citations issued for undersized crappie. I don't know how. Somebody put them in there. It's my basket.
They do it all the time. Yeah. They leave fish in my basket all the time.
Now you have a place on the lake. Anybody ever just leave you some fish?
No, I haven't been that fortunate.
Yeah.
So
now I have pulled up at the ramp before and only had 3 or 4, and I saw that somebody else, had a few fish, and I'd say, "Hey, would you like these fish?" But I never just searched out for a fish basket to throw my culls in.
No. The only person I know has a basket on the lake is Johnny Geist.
Yeah, he does.
He keeps his brim in there.
He keeps those brim in there.
That's right. That's right. And but anyway, poor role models. Game warden patrolling Shelby County noticed 5 fishermen. Shelby County, that's down around Nacogdoches, I think, or St. Augustine, somewhere in there. Anyway, 5 fishermen sitting around a fire with 4 fishing poles in the water. As he approached the group, he saw many beer cans on the bank and around the fire. The smell of alcohol was apparent from every member of the group. Everyone admitted to drinking, including 3 minors. Uh-oh.
Here we go.
The adults said the minors wanted to be just like them and bought them a 30-pack of beer. Here's your sign.
It's not funny, but it's funny.
Here's your sign.
Yeah.
How stupid are you? Multiple cases for no fishing license. Minor in possession and consumption of alcohol and contributing purchasing alcohol to minors are pending.
Wow.
Oh, my gosh.
God love them.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't understand people that think like that, but oh well.
Also got a story here, and I don't quite understand exactly what this guy has done wrong, but the South Dakota Game, Fish, and Parks Commission has sent a letter to Beretta USA about the game violations of a TV show host, Scott Robertson. He's got a TV outdoor show sponsored by the firearms company, Beretta. The letter approved during the commission's meeting expresses the concern about ethical and legal violations committed in South Dakota regarding illegal deer taken by Scott Robertson and his wife Wendy in 2008 and 2009. Boy, they're real quick, aren't they?
Yeah,
they just drafted this letter last Friday.
Exactly.
I don't know if they've checked the calendar lately. Are they just hearing about this? Is
I
it
don't know.
slow?
You got to wonder what takes so long. I'm like you. Is there a reason behind this? Is there a vindication involved?
I honestly think because they really don't go into a whole lot of detail as to what they did. The violation's part of a broader investigation that led to state and federal convictions of others in the Rock Creek Ranch case in Todd County. Many violations took place over a 5-year period. Robertson hosts a program called Beretta's Wild and Raw. John Cooper of Pierre, the commission's chairman, signed the letter to Beretta. And quoting here, Mr. Robertson's actions demonstrate a total and complete disregard for the wildlife laws in South Dakota.
Yeah.
So we don't know what happened.
Yeah,
what
we
was
don't know
going
how
on.
he took him with a bow, with his long-range rifle. You know, what was the deal here? But, you know, Gary, the reason why I even brought this up, this isn't the first time a TV show host has been accused of unethical practices,
right,
so to speak.
Right.
You got to wonder, I mean, I know there's a lot of pressure on people, just like bass fishing shows.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. We all know Bill Dance has told Jimmy Houston it may take them 4 or 5 days. Hank Parker, he said it took him 4 days one time to shoot one show.
Sure.
30-minute show. It took 4 days.
Yeah.
Just to get enough fish to show the show.
Right.
And you got to wonder, do these people hunt during times of the year when they probably, if they're on a private ranch, they know they're not going to get caught anyway? I don't know. I just know this is the second case I've heard of where the TV show host is involved with unethical practices and illegal hunting. So,
you know, last week you had left us some notes regarding some cheaters.
Yeah.
I think it was on Lake Gunnersville.
Yeah, Alabama.
And we didn't actually get a chance to really delve off into that, but it really had me thinking about cheating in bass tournaments and things of that. And this was just like a little bitty local evening tournament.
It was just like the Cross Lake tournament.
Sure.
It was one of those kind of
events. It was just
on
like
Thursday
that,
night.
but it was in Gunnersville.
Yep.
And these guys are cheating and wound up doing time over that. You know, is just because it couldn't have been for the money. I don't think that those guys won more than a few $100s anytime they did that. But
I heard Mike say something last week.
Yeah.
And I think he nailed it. It's about the honor and the prestige of winning an event.
The bragging rights.
I won the tournament.
How?
I think there's a lot of truth to that. Is it
Stinkbait,
that
how expensive is ego by the pound these days? You know, when you start buying ego, what's that worth?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm gonna tell you right
and
now.
Is it worth the price?
You know, now
I
I know for a fact that, you know, the few times in my life that I've gotten to stand in the winner's circle and be able to hold that winning bag, man, there's no feeling in the world that's like that or worth that.
No.
But there's also, you know, you got to have some inner fortitude to be able to say, you know, that there's no way I would ever cheat for that feeling, because you'll never get that feeling.
Oh, no.
Knowing that you cheated to get there.
Exactly. It kills the feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tim Hewlett,
you gotta sleep at night.
Tim Hewlett, who is the baseball coach at Evangel, said something one time that has stuck with me for years. And he says, don't ever judge success by the results of the game. Now, you think about that. Don't ever judge success by the results of the game. If you played the worst game you've ever played, but you still managed to win 3-2,
right?
Were you successful? If you didn't practice, if you didn't put forth all the effort, but you won 3-, did you really win?
And what's the ultimate goal?
The scoreboard says you won.
Yeah, and what's the ultimate goal?
But again,
to win.
If you, on the converse side, if you went out there, you played the best game of your life. These other guys just smoked you. They beat you by 4 runs. Did you really lose?
Oh, and you've been in the same situation. There's been days on the water for me. I've gone out and executed to perfection. Never lost a fish, never missed a bite. Did I win? No, because they weren't big enough.
Sure.
They were smaller fish than what the
Or
guys
all
that
slot
won.
fish.
Or all slot fish, yeah. I mean, but as far as my game plan and what I wanted to do, I executed it to a T.
Yeah.
And it didn't always result in a W,
Sure.
or winning a tournament.
That's my thinking on this is, when you set out and you're convinced that the only way you're going to stand in that winner's circle is to cheat, dude, number one, you're going to get caught.
Oh, yeah. It's just a matter of time.
That's going to happen. And you'll do time.
Yeah.
And you know what? I would be all for more legislation in that regard, for lengthier periods and for other, for possible civil suits and things to come about from those guys who might have finished up second place or third place. You cost them money.
But
you cost them sponsorship opportunities. There's a number of things that go along with it. But you know what? You're never going to get that feeling of the real W.
Well,
you're never going to get that success just by the results of that game.
And Gary, you and I both know, I mean, we fished a lot of local stuff here, and there's some great fishermen right here in this area.
Hey, let me tell you what, you win regularly around here, you're bad to the bone,
Yeah, you're a pretty good stick.
Yeah.
And my feeling would be, if I cheated to beat these guys here, and I got caught, these are friends of mine. These guys are friends. I don't know if
lifelong friends.
I couldn't face them again. That would be the most embarrassing. My next interaction with them would be the most embarrassing point of my life.
You'd be deer hunting in South Dakota with this guy up there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I just say, that's just a word to the wise.
But some people, Gary, don't have what's called a conscience.
Sure.
I do. When I lay my head on that pillow at night, did I do somebody wrong today? Did I do something wrong to somebody that I shouldn't have?
Yeah.
That would strike a chord with me.
And
not everybody's like me or you.
And it doesn't just come all the way down to cheating. There's some ethics involved, jumping another man's fish, There's a number of things. David Parker told me a long time ago, and I still think he's probably one of the greatest anglers that lived in this area.
Oh, no doubt.
David said, you know what? He says, I don't mind telling anybody where I'm catching my fish or how I'm catching my fish, because I'm hoping that instead of you coming out there and trying to take my fish away from me, that you'll go find some fish that are on the same type of a pattern, some of your own fish in another place, and you'll get them there. He says, that's the rule of that's the mark of a real tournament angler.
And that's the mark of a great fisherman.
Without a doubt.
Somebody like Parker, you cut him off on a row of cypress trees, well, he's just going to pull the trolling motor up. He's going to go around you and go somewhere else and still go kick your butt. So that's the mark of a great angler. He didn't care that you cut him off.
Okay, we're going to try to catch some white perch. Gil Self is going to be on here in just a sec. Give us all the latest on Toledo Bend. It is next. Hooking up and tracking down 11:30, the Tiger.
Looking for a place to get away from it all? Look no further than Red River's Midway Marina in St. Maurice. Owners John and Kemp Nelson invite you to stop by for lunch or come in and rent one of several cabins for the weekend. RV hookups and a nice boat ramp that leads to some of the best skiing and fishing on Red River. Fully stocked bait and tackle store with gas pumps on and off the water. So book your next trip online, MidwayMarinaStMaurice.com, or call 318-646-0097. Natchitoches, Louisiana is known for its rich history, and when you talk car buying, Natchitoches Ford has the distinction of selling the very first Ford automobiles in Louisiana. That means they have been satisfying customers for a long time. Friendly people who will make sure you have a great car buying experience. Their no high pressure and hassle-free sales staff will do their best to offer you the best service possible when buying that new car or truck. Family owned and operated, Calvin Braxton Sr. and Jr. want to invite you to stop by and see the guys who started it all in Louisiana car buying at Natchitoches Ford Lincoln, just off the Highway 1 bypass in Natchitoches, or call them at 318-352-3677.
Rick Terrell here for Terrell Brothers Furniture in Natchez, where we've got 7-piece living room groups as low as $5.99. You heard right, 7-piece living room groups as low as $5.99. We've got over 20 groups to choose from. So before you buy living room furniture anywhere, come to Terrell Brothers Furniture, 310 Texas Street in Natchitoches.
Did you notice some brands sending out trophies from 2006 at boat shows this year? Really? That's like wearing your high school letterman jacket to a job interview when you're 30. But if other brands are going to raise the issue of awards, no matter how old they may be, we're happy to join the conversation. When it comes to awards, Sea Ray is in a class all its own. Sea Ray is the most awarded boat brand ever. Bayou Outdoor Supercenter has yours waiting for you. Bayou Outdoor Supercenter is Louisiana's family-owned RV and marine dealer.
This is Hooking Up and Tracking Down on 1130 The Tiger. This segment presented by Santone Lures, the Red River Waterway, and Vicious Fishing Line. Get vicious with the fishes. Now back to the guys who set the standard in outdoor radio. Just not very high. Steve Graff, Gary McCoy, and Mike Eckel.
It's a low bar.
Yeah, very low.
Average.
And sinking.
Yeah. Hey, you know, some advertisers use the phrase, "we have what you need." Nowhere is that more true than Toledo Town and Tackle, your one-stop shop for all your fishing tackle needs while fishing Toledo Bend. You know, Kurt Carver, Gil Self, and all the gang will make sure you have the right bait and the right gear to make your trip to Toledo Bend a memorable one. And while you're there, be sure you pick up a few snacks. Visit the deli for one of the best burgers on the Bend. That's Toledo Town and Tackle, the largest tackle box on the Bend. And speaking of Toledo Tackle,
the largest tackle box.
The largest tackle box, or the largest, yeah,
the largest man in the store.
Largest something. Gil Self. Gil, you there, brother?
I see it coming.
Hey, we couldn't resist, Gil. We had to.
Steve said they stack it real tall there at Toledo Town.
Why y'all pick on me so bad?
Hey, brother, we catching any fish?
Yeah, we're catching fish. Man, I tell you what, fishing is good. I mean, I think, you know, of course, the brim are doing good, man. Steve and Gary, I mean, they're catching brim. I mean, it has been fantastic. And, you know, this is, to me, for the last several years, I think they're catching bigger brim this year. You know, y'all remember back to the old bull brim, you know, pins?
Yeah.
They're catching them. You know, they're catching them up shallow. Of course, you know, they moved in. I think they moved in late to spawn and everything. And I'd say about 7 to 8 foot of water right now. And, I mean, it's
bluegills and chinky pins?
Huh?
Bluegills and chinky pins?
Yeah. I've had several people come in and say, "Man, we catching these big old chinky pins." And that's a critter right there. You know, those things get humongous. You know.
Yeah.
And
you can fillet them.
Oh, yeah, most definitely. The crappie, of course, you know, they move back out to the brush piles, but they catch them in these brush piles with them shiners. Mm-hmm. I mean, they're doing good.
Gil,
I had a friend of mine.
One thing I want to ask you, Gil. You know, the last 2 years, Toledo Bend has been on fire.
Without a doubt.
Is it because the Sabine River has finally, the community finally decided to stabilize that lake and keep it at certain levels? It just seems like it's gotten consistent all of a sudden with the bite, and the fishing's gotten so much better because it's not up and down like it was. Is that part of the reason, you think?
Yeah, I do. I will totally agree with that. I mean, now we're at a level and it's staying there, you know, and the fish get so-called, you know, back to a normal routine, so to speak, you know. And but I do agree with that. Most definitely. I mean, the guys are going out. We've had several 8s come in the daytime. We've had some 10s come in during the day. And night fishing is really, matter of fact, I had a 6 2 weekends ago that I caught off one of my night holes. And I mean, it's just, hey, it's busting wide open. Day, night, it don't matter. It's all good, guys. I'm telling you, you couldn't ask for any better right now.
Is there any hydrilla in the lake right now, Gil?
Oh, yeah. I mean, you know, naturally, most of the hydrilla, you know, is down, let's go all the way down to Pies Cove and places like that. Most of it's down, you know, on the Texas side, you know, from Lowe's Creek, Indian Mounds, Housing, 6 Mile, Mill Creek, and all down through there. That's loaded with beautiful green hydrilla.
What about the north end of the lake? Any of it from 1215, you know, anywhere in that area?
some of the guys, I haven't, I have to be truthful about it. I have not been up there in quite some time. But some of the guys are saying the hydro, some of it is starting to come back, but it's not really, per se, deep hydro like you have down on the south end. But it's making an effort, okay, to come back in.
Wow.
And it doesn't take much.
we're catching some fish up there.
Yeah, I'm finna say, and it doesn't take much gill to hold fish when you got a little grass.
No,
it doesn't take much grass.
I had a real good friend of mine. He and a buddy of his that was fishing with him. They were up there, and they had hydro like in, 6, 7, 8 foot of water. And partner, they were spanking them, you hear me? They were catching fish on jigs and that, but it was just pretty green, hydro that we like to see. And they were dropping jigs and that and catching bass. And some of them was pretty good fish they was pulling out of there. But so you're right. It doesn't take real deep hydro to catch pull a bass out of it.
Well, while you're in the store, you have a pretty good bird's eye view as to what's leaving the store a lot. What would you say? Probably the 3 hottest baits leaving out of Toledo town right now.
Well, if I had to make a call on that, naturally jig is going to be in that order.
What color?
They're catching some on the jig. There's
Yeah.
probably black, blue, and purple. Black and blue's always been good colors.
What about the camo? Remember camo got hot for a while when it first came out. Camo was hot.
I haven't seen a whole lot of camo, but there's other colors. Strike King makes a color called Candy Crawl. It's kind of a purplish, greenish color.
Mm-hmm.
And any colors like that, I think the common denominator, anything that's got green and purple in it, guys, will it be plastics, jigs?
That brim pattern.
Yeah, that's why the camo is so big.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. That's the ticket. That's the ticket.
Now, if you had to take,
what's the other two? What's the other two baits?
Yeah,
jig's one.
All right, jig, a worm, definitely a worm, day or night. And one thing I have noticed, and to me, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter whether it's day or night. Is normally this time of year, and Steve, this normally this time of year, I'm dropping probably unless I'm in the heavy grass. If I'm just worm Texas rigging, or even Carolina rigging, let's go back to Texas rigging. I normally drop a 1/4 ounce weight unless I'm out 16, 18 foot, and I'll go to a 5/16, okay?
Right.
But these fish,
big
especially at night, I can't hardly get a bite on a 1/4 ounce bait, but I drop back to that 3/16, and it's on.
Really?
It's on. They want that slower fall, and I'm gonna tell you something else that I never thought I would say, buddy. You better have some garlic spray. I mean, that garlic spray it's just a major part of it, day or night.
Now, if you had to pick one color, like right now for daytime fishing, if you had to pick one color, what would be your primary color right now?
Well, let's go with 2 colors. Let's go with plum apple.
That's the Toledo staple.
Yeah, love that.
Yeah.
Right, plum apple, and the other one would probably be one that I call green pumpkin candy because it's got the green and purple flake in that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Right.
That would be my 2 favorite colors right now. And with that plum apple being there, red bug is probably going to be It's going to fall into that track somewhere.
Yeah.
And you know what? I don't mind throwing the red bug at night.
No, that used to be one of my hottest baits to throw at night.
Oh man,
guys, I'm gonna tell you right now, if I was taking y'all both out tonight on a night trip, I'm gonna tell you to bring 2 colors. Number one is gonna be blue fleck, FLECK, and the other one's gonna be candy bug.
Mm-hmm.
Candy bug. I mean, we're gonna hero zero right there. But that's what that night I caught the 9-6. I think I caught 19 fish that night, and lost one more good fish. I don't know how big she was. I never got to see her. But I had my hands full, and then about 40 minutes later, I caught that 9-6. But that was all on blue fleck.
Now, Gil, are we throwing the Mag 2? Are we throwing the old monster or the 10-11-inch worms?
Berkeley, I'll bet you.
I'm throwing the old monster. Okay.
A 10.5-inch worm.
A couple weeks before that, I was throwing a blue fleck all night. It's one of them deals where Mama wanted to go fishing. I took her with me, and of course, after about 30 minutes, she back there snoring on the back deck, and I'm up there bass fishing. I asked her to throw me a bag of old monster blue fleck worms. Well, she made a mistake and threw me Mag 2s, but I caught 17 fish because we didn't got there at 1:30 in the morning. I caught 17 fish from 1:30 to daylight and had 1 6.5, and every one of them was on Mag 2, so go figure.
That's a good woman, right?
Hey, let me tell you,
1:30 in the morning?
She told you she was getting you the right worm. Just shut up and fish.
Hey, my wife at 1:30 in the morning, if I said, let's go fishing.
I had to pay for it when I got back, you know.
Yeah. Oh, my gosh.
I got grounded.
Hey, Gil, I assume that if somebody stops at the store, you'll be able to give them all the latest information, anytime over the course of the weekend. Do you work Saturday, Sunday?
Yes, indeed.
Okay. I didn't know if you were there.
Well, you heard about Kurt Carver, son.
Well.
Oh, yeah. I'll tell you what, I had some boys in here was fishing a night tournament here. It's been a couple of weekends ago, and they came in, Gil, what do we do? And I said, throw, candy bug and blue fleck, use a garlic spray, and I said, use a 3/16-ounce sinker. Well, they won the tournament.
There you go.
There you go.
And, and Steve and Gary, y'all know, I'm not going to blow smoke at anybody, I don't agree with doing things like that. If I can't help you, I'm sure not going to do anything here at Toledo Tackle to hurt you.
Well, the thing about it is, Gil, they won't come back and see you if you do.
That's right.
That's right. You give people wrong information and they don't come back. So
no, I try to help these guys, and we all do here. We got everything, just about everything a fisherman could ask, bass fisherman could ask for.
Exactly. Yeah.
And from food all the way to tackle.
Yeah.
Hey, things hot as a firecracker right now, Toledo Bend. Make sure you stop by and see Gil Self and the gang at Toledo Town. He'll be able to give you all the latest information, everything you need. Gil, appreciate you, brother.
Okay.
Hey, it's good talking to you, man. Y'all keep each other straight.
Thank you, Gil. Appreciate it, man.
All right, y'all have a good one.
Next time Eccles is gone, we're going to have Gil come all the way up here and hang out
with us.
And do that. Hey,
he sat in with me before.
We'll be his guests.
Yeah, he does a great job. I had Gil sitting with me in Natchitoches at the TV studio. Yeah. He did a great job.
I'm telling you, he is always something. Okay, something I wanted to mention to you, Lee Lakowski. We had Tiffany last week.
Right.
Lee Lakowski next week. Lee from The Crush with Lee and Tiffany. He's going to be on the show with us. I think he got jealous because Tiffany got to hang out with us.
Yeah, I think so.
I think it kind of hurt his feelings.
I think he has some things to pick with Mike. So.
Yeah, he needs to talk to Mike. Lee's going to be on the show with us and give us some hints as to what we should be planning for our fall food plots and what's going on over the course of the summer. That's next week. Hook it up and track it down, 11:30, The Tiger.
Toledo Fiberglass specializes in fiberglass restoration, offering fiberglass repair on all major brands of ski and bass boats. Al Drew and his staff will get you back on the water where you belong. Everything from metal flake scratches to recarpeting, Toledo Fiberglass can fix it. It's also home of the Gorilla Hull and the headquarters of the Minn Kota Talon Shallow Water Anchor System. So the next time you need fiberglass repairs or restoration, go see Toledo Fiberglass just off the Texas Highway or call 800-554-5452. You've heard the old saying, good things come to those who wait. Well, Natchitoches, the wait is over. John Abraham has just opened the best hunting and fishing store in Natchitoches. Cypress Knee Outdoors, located on Highway 6 west off I-49, has everything a hunter fisherman could want. Top name brands Zoom, Santone, Pelican, V&M, and the new Uzo baits, as well as hunting brands like Primos, Duck Commander, Hoyt, and Federal. So don't drive to Shreveport Ellick anymore. Go see the guys at Cypress Knee Outdoors or call them at 238-HUNT.
Legendary quality. At Ranger, it's an unparalleled commitment to incredible strength. With the industry's only pull-truted transom, we don't rely on the upper deck to support the transom and motor. It's a difference so strong, we sliced off this rear deck to show its independence from the transom. From total performance to your peace of mind. Cut open the whole story at rangerstrong.com.
Hello, I'm Troy Umbehagen. We at Natchitoches Nursing and Rehabilitation proudly support and watch TV17's local programming.
You're watching KNTS Digital 19 in Natchitoches, Louisiana. Too hot in the summer, too cold in the winter? and your heating and air conditioning system is burning holes in your paycheck, you need to call Luke at Guy Heating and Air. Welcome to the Natchitoches Shooting Range, where you can participate in many exciting activities, such as trap, skeet, 5-stand, sporting clays, cowboy action shoots, and many others. Individual memberships and family memberships are available, but the public is welcome. Come enjoy yourself at the Natchitoches Shooting Range on Tawson Island Road, just before the Grand Ecore Bridge.
Once again, here's Steve, Gary, and Mike.
And welcome back to Hour 2 of Hooking Up and Tracking Down. Steve Graff, Gary McCoy. Eccles is out playing Pirate down in somewhere in the.
Are they in like Bermuda Triangle or somewhere like that? I mean, he's going to cause weather changes and stuff.
The triangle would never be the same again.
He'd be the only guy that could actually straighten that all up.
Exactly. Real quick before we get to Travis Prefert, when it comes to fiberglass repair, no one does it better than Al Druitt and the guys at Toledo Fiberglass, located just west of Toledo town. Al's crew is nothing short of first class. Let's face it, if you own a boat, it's just a matter of time before hull damage will occur. These guys know what it takes to make your boat not only look like new, but get you back on the water as soon as possible. Also, it's home of the Gorilla Hull, an application that not only increases the performance of your boat, but also makes your boat tough as nails. So the next time you suffer fiberglass damage, that is right, damage. Yeah. Trust the guys at Toledo Fiberglass to get you back on the water.
Graff writes it and then questions himself while he's reading what he wrote. Travis, you ever deal with that kind of stuff?
I was thinking brain damage or something,
Dane Bramage.
Yeah.
No, I don't ever deal with fiberglass.
Hey, Travis, with the new show.
About brain damage?
I'm sure he's got brothers.
I deal with a lot of brain damage.
Hey, have you guys ever gotten into bow fishing?
Yeah, we've done that quite a bit.
They did a show with bow fishing.
Okay, let me tell you what, now. I think I want to get off into a little bit of bow fishing. What's the first step in venturing off into that? I mean, you got to get the boat right and all the lights and everything.
You got to have a satellite dish, basically, with lights on it.
Golly.
I'd find somebody that knows what they're doing.
There you go.
I can hook you up on that.
Yeah.
I can hook you up.
Well, you know what? You guys venture all over the world. And, I mean, you're out there with the world, looking at you through the lens of a camera. And a few minutes ago, we were talking about a guy who is a TV show host up in South Dakota that got in trouble because of essentially, the pressure of performing on the camera and everything came about. When you're out off in a different part of the world and man, you've only got a limited amount of time. You got 4 or 5 days, and you're trying to harvest an animal, whether it be an antelope or a big mule deer, whatever the case might be. How often does that come into play? The fact that the camera didn't see it. I'm not seeing what I want to see. How often does that really mess up the apple cart on you?
It does. It is a lot of pressure. Because you're trying to. It's a job. I mean, you're trying to get your job done, but we go into it as we're just hunting. We're just going to be ourselves. We're just going to hunt. What happens, happens, and because you can't change nature. It just is what it is. But a lot of times you do have a lot of pressure on you, especially if you've got a lot of money tied up into going in a lot of traveling expenses and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
So, it can wear on you, but in our situation, me and the brothers, we've told each other, hey, we're just going to go and have fun no matter what. And, we try to ignore the camera as much as possible.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
With a new show, The Preferts, have you already gotten all the filming and everything done for the coming season?
Yeah, is it in the can?
Yeah, everything is done. We just finished up New Zealand. That's going to be our last episode this season.
I saw that promo the other day. One of y'all took a big old red stag.
Yeah, well, we all did.
Okay, gotcha. All right.
Oh, really?
Now tell me, what's the difference between that and just our native Rocky Mountain elk?
Well, in my opinion, there's not a whole lot of difference. Now, the stag body size, they're not going to be as big body they're going to be around at 600-700 pounds, where your elk will be somewhere between 8 and 1,000.
Yeah.
But the thing about a stag is, they're going to have a lot more mass on their head. They'll have a lot more bone.
One of the things, I started doing a little reading about New Zealand, and one of the things, they did some research there, and this is where you guys really get heavily involved, back here at home with the plant. They have determined that the return on the investment of farming whitetails, deer, you get a lot greater return on that investment than you do beef cattle. And so there's huge farms that are farming nothing but whitetail, which actually is a better source of protein for you than beef cattle ever dreamed of being.
Oh yeah,
did y'all see a lot of that?
We did. New Zealand, their entire economy is based on agriculture.
Yeah.
And that's what they strive on. We were watching rugby games, and they were being sponsored by John Deere and New Holland.
The World Cup brought to you by International Harvester.
Yeah.
It was funny to watch, because these guys would be running around out there in the field, throwing that ball around, and they'd have a tractor dealership on the back of their shirt.
Wow.
Nothing runs like a deer.
No.
When you're there, how is this like one of those places that you would say was part of your bucket list before you got there?
Oh yeah. I've had New Zealand on my bucket list my whole life. I just never thought I'd make it over there till I was retired.
Yeah.
But because that's a chance of a lifetime. Most people, that's on their bucket list when they retire. They've been saving up their whole lives to do something like that.
How hard is it to get a firearm into the country?
It's not that hard. It really it wasn't that bad. Biggest problem we run into was every airport we landed at, we had to go get our firearm and recheck it in, because we landed in a different country or province every time.
Mm-hmm.
So that was kind of a pain in the butt. But other than that, it wasn't bad at all.
My only out of the country experience was in Mexico on a dove hunt.
Yeah.
And when we crossed the border down there, we had to have our guns all checked. That was a nightmare. It was an absolute zoo trying to get our guns into Mexico.
Trying to get them back into the United States is even harder.
Yeah, it was just like, I just couldn't believe how difficult it was, and that's why I don't envy when you have to go out of country. I figured it'd be a lot tougher with New Zealand, but I guess maybe Mexico's one of the worst places. It's just very hard to get them across the border.
Yeah, one of the worst things is getting it back into this country.
Yeah, that's what I found. Was trying to get it back here. Yeah, hey, this is my gun. It started off. I bought it in Freeport, Louisiana.
You approved it to come over the first time. Yeah. I don't get that.
Well, what we did, and we lucked out. I had a buddy that had been in New Zealand before, and what we did is we went to the customs place in Dallas before we ever left, and had everything checked in and got paperwork. And that way, when we got back, we had proof that we took that gun out of this country and was bringing it back.
Gotcha. What else is on the bucket list for Travis Preford?
That's where I was going next. Bighorn sheep. What are we talking about?
Are we going, bird hunting down in Venezuela or what?
Oh.
No, I don't know. New Zealand was on top of my bucket list, and now it's kind of hard to say right now.
What about Argentina and Argentina dove hunt?
Yeah.
I had a chance to go to Argentina. I had a chance to go this August in Argentina, and Eddie's actually going, and he asked me if I wanted to go along, and I said, I can shoot dove out of the backyard.
Yeah. Well, if you need somebody to take his place, call me.
All right.
So what are we going to see this coming season? Obviously there's the red stag hunt. I imagine you're probably still hammering down on hogs there around the house. There's got to be a hog hunt or two.
We are. We're actually last weekend I had a group of ladies come in, and we did a ladies hog hunt here at the house.
Yeah, I posted some out on Facebook, our Facebook page. I copied some of that and shared it. Yeah, I saw that.
We didn't have any luck right now. All the grasses are tall, and it got so hot, everything's coming out, late at night, and they're hard to see. So we got to wait for everybody to get the hay cut down, get them out in that short grass, get them spotlighted.
Is that tough to convince a woman you really are going hog hunting when you ask them to go out in the field in the middle of the night?
Yeah.
Like running out of gas,
We're just going to root around.
Yeah.
and Nichols isn't even here.
So you got a hog hunt. What else? I assume we got probably a couple of really good whitetail hunts.
Yeah, we got let's see, Kansas whitetail, Missouri whitetail, some Montana and Colorado mule deer, New Mexico elk.
Y'all need to do a combination show with Lee and Tiffany.
Yeah.
That'd be a great show.
I don't think Travis would have any problem with that at all.
My wife might have a problem with it.
Hey, listen,
we had Tiffany on last week, by the way.
Difference between Kansas and Missouri.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kansas deer bigger?
It all depends on where you're hunting.
Okay.
I mean.
So I heard the deer up there just by the, our old buddy James Hester used to go up there every year on the Indian reservations.
Yeah.
And he said deer are everywhere up there.
In Kansas?
Yeah, by the hundreds.
That's what I hear from Lynn Beatty.
Yeah, he said they're everywhere.
Oh, last year I went for early season muzzle loader, and I set my stand for one day and counted, I don't know, 15 bucks.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I killed my buck on the first day.
Wow.
They want you to come hunt up there.
Oh yeah.
So when you're setting up on like that, do you have an idea before you ever get there? I'm not gonna pull the trigger unless I see, 140, 160 class.
The stand the buddy I went up there and was hunting with a buddy of mine, and he put me in a stand, and he told me there was a 190-inch buck coming to this stand, and I shot a 145-inch the first day I was there.
He couldn't stand it up.
I couldn't. We live right here in East Texas, and a 125-inch buck is a big buck.
Oh,
here.
yeah.
And for us, you get in those other areas, it's kind of hard to start scoring them bucks.
Did you regret pulling the trigger?
No, I didn't regret.
Good for you. I'm glad somebody told the truth. I might not have ever seen that other deer.
I sat there, me and the cameraman watched that buck for about 10 minutes, and he said, "What are you going to do?" And I said, "I ain't going to pass him up. He's standing there. I ain't going to pass him up." I live by that philosophy. Don't pass up the first day that you'd kill if you kill it on the last day.
Yeah.
There you go.
That's good philosophy.
All right, Travis, the show coming out, the new name is called The Briefers, and when's the debut of that show? Is it July?
July 3rd.
July 3rd. All right.
Now, will they make reference to the fact that, you were originally Backwoods Bloodline?
Probably not.
Okay. So when it comes on, for all intents and purposes, new show. It's just The Prefers.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll go into this season 1.
Same cast?
Same cast, me and Eddie and Nate.
Good deal. Well, I am really looking forward to it, especially this New Zealand stag hunt. That just looks like it would just be, something that most of us rednecks are never going to get to go see.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, and that'll probably turn into about a 3-part episode.
Oh, cool.
Well, was the red stag similar to like an all-dad, type animal?
No, they're more like an elk.
Okay. All-dad's more like just a bigger goat. Isn't it?
Yeah. Now, we hunted Himalayan tar while we were over there also. They're a lot like an all-dad.
Oh, okay. How about all? I got some all-dads in West Texas.
I saw some guys down on 49 Himalayan some tar down there, too.
Okay. We're going to let you go, Travis, on that one.
What'd you say down on 49?
Yeah, it's on I-49 Himalayan some tar.
Yeah, it was Himalayan some tar.
On 49.
He ain't right. Lord, he's some
Isn't that what he said?
He's from Halton.
Himalayan tar? Isn't that what you said? A Himalayan tar?
Himalayan tar.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
Okay.
Travis, appreciate you calling in, buddy.
I'll be here all week. Be sure you tip your waitresses.
Travis won't call back again after the day, but
well, I was just glad to talk to y'all. I thought y'all didn't love me no more.
Oh, dude, hey, we honestly, we could not have had you on at a better time. In fact, if you want, anytime you want to call, we're here.
Oh yeah, y'all got an open line.
Yeah.
So I thought y'all were gonna come up and do some fishing.
You know what? That's what we're after right now.
Whoa.
It is time.
All we're waiting on is invitation.
Yeah.
Well, it's open. Anytime.
I just need an address to put in the GPS, and we're headed your direction.
Yeah, we will be there. We've already been to Lake Fork, and we got to take Eccles somewhere. We don't know where.
Dude, we killed him on Lake Fork. If you haven't gone over with Johnny Geis,
hey, we got the guide for you over there, Travis.
That'll be the best fishing trip you ever been on in your life.
It's exactly right.
If y'all went to Lake Fork, y'all had to pass right by me.
See?
Well, no, we didn't come to Mount Pleasant.
I kept telling Graf here, let's stop. Nate said, Travis said, and he just kept on,
No, but we can make it. We can go that way, but we went straight up I-20 and headed straight to Mineola.
Travis Preifert, thank you, brother.
Hey, thank y'all.
Hey, we're excited about it. July 3rd, new season, new show.
Yeah.
It's the old Backwoods Bloodline, but the new show, The Preiferts, July 3rd, and looking forward to an incredible season. Like he said.
We'll be posting some stuff on Facebook.
Hog hunt, great stag hunts, probably 3 different episodes on that. Some Kansas whitetails, some Missouri whitetails, mule deer, New Mexico elk. It's going to be an incredible season.
Hog hunting.
Yeah, buddy. Be looking for it. The Preiferts, we are hooking up and tracking down 11:30, The Tiger.
Some things just stayed the same, but not Toledo Town and Tackle. Still the best selection of tackle on the bin. Zoom dive with Gene LaRue and Sam Tone. Now double the size of the original store, you have twice as much to choose from. With a new deli serving the best hamburgers, pizza, and soft drinks, you'll find something that's sure to fill your belly. They also have a great selection of tees and polo-style shirts. So stop in and treat yourself to the best tackle box on the bin. Toledo Town and Tackle on beautiful Toledo Bend Lake. Looking for a place to get away from it all? Look no further than Red River's Midway Marina in St. Maurice. Owners John and Kemp Nelson invite you to stop by for lunch or come in and rent one of several cabins for the weekend. RV hookups and a nice boat ramp that leads to some of the best skiing and fishing on Red River. Fully stocked bait and tackle store with gas pumps on and off the water. So book your next trip online, MidwayMarinaStMaurice.com or call 318-646-0097.
Hello everybody, Ranger Pro Staffer Steve Graff with the Hooking Up and Tracking Down Show. Folks, there's nothing I love more than my Rhino. I've had 3-wheelers, I've had 4-wheelers, but if you want the best of the best, you need to get you a Rhino 700 from Honda Yamaha Village right here in Natchitoches. My Rhino does more than take me to and from the deer stand. It is a great utility vehicle around your house. You can use it for all kinds of stuff, including yard work. I've got it loaded down right here. But one of the best features of the Rhino, it's got a dump bed right in the back of it. So go see the guys at Honda Yamaha Village of Natchez, Chip, Layton, and the gang over there, and let them show you the new Yamaha 700 series from Honda Yamaha Village right here in Natchez.
When I go shopping, I want camo, fishing tackle, guns, hunting gear, work clothes.
And when I go shopping, I want home decor, gifts, children's, and baby clothes.
Fortunately, we can both get exactly what we need at the same place, Nichols.
All the name brands you can find in the big city without driving to the big city and paying big city prices.
Nichols, keeping folks happy since 1914.
This segment of Hooking Up and Tracking Down on 1130 The Tiger, presented by Cypress Knee Outdoors, Mr. Twister, and Lake Fork guide Johnny Geis, the only guide you'll need at Lake Fork. Back to you, Gary.
Hey, thanks again for hanging out with us, Gary McCoy and the Ranger Pro Staffer, Steve Graff. Our third stooge is somewhere in the middle of the Caribbean on a cruise right now with a family, and God love him. I'm sure the boat's probably run up 3 or 4 SOS signals, Please get him off of here. Yeah. But he will be back with us next week. And next week, as I mentioned a minute ago, really, really special. We had Tiffany Lakowski of the Crush with Lee and Tiffany last week. And I would have to venture probably the most beautiful woman on sporting television across bar none. Oh yeah. And even though it happens to be an outdoor channel that that she's on, I don't care if you're watching ESPN or Fox Sports Southwest. She's probably the prettiest woman.
Oh, yeah. And a very infectious personality. Just one of those people that never met a stranger.
And you know what? I was amazed. I was amazed at how much knowledge she'd picked up, because when she and Lee first started dating, she said, hey, she said I was just
a softball player.
Well, yeah.
Cheerleader.
She was a stewardess.
Yeah, stewardess.
And now, obviously, she's developed a lot of knowledge because Lee is probably one of the most educated. I mean, we're talking about an engineer.
Yeah,
I mean, this guy is not the run-of-the-mill Gary, Mike, and Steve idiot.
No. He's not your just outdoor guru. He's an intelligent man that knows. It's going to be great to pick his brain next week about food plots. And the thing I want to know is what works in Wisconsin. Does it work in Louisiana?
Well, I'm telling you right now, I can't make alfalfa grow here. I have tried.
Oh, really?
I cannot make alfalfa grow here.
It's probably too hot here.
Well, now, I will say this, that me and my Uncle Gary in Grand Cane visited 4 or 5 years ago, and we had actually gone through a bunch of stuff, and he found where the first bale of alfalfa had been sold at one of the agricultural auctions back in the 30s, so at one point somebody was growing alfalfa here. I just can't make it grow.
I remember as a kid growing up, my dad, I would see, used to see big 18-wheelers going down the road with hay on it.
Yeah.
It was alfalfa. My dad said, well, that's a load of alfalfa. And I'm like, well, where's it coming from? And he said, well, just hard to grow down here. He said, so it's probably coming from some northern states.
Yeah.
That just shipping it down. It's a great quality, high grade of hay. Mm-hmm. And we always use Coastal Bermuda or Bahia.
Yeah.
That's what we always had the big long stems, and beautiful. Makes great hay, but it just not for deer necessarily.
Well, next week, we're hoping that Lee's going to be able to fill us in. What's the best source of protein for the whitetails? Obviously, as you said, the regional differences, what might work up there might not work down here, but we might be able to do something better down here. And, one of the things that occurs to me is my buddy Matt Williams that I visited with. And, Matt's one of these guys kind of like Lee Lakowski. He's really educated on this kind of stuff. And Matt says, take care of the browse. A deer does not want to graze.
Yeah.
That's their last source. So, take care of that browse. And so, are there a number of things that we could plant down here? Pole beans growing on sunflowers. Well, that's a really great source of protein for them. And then you've given them an opportunity to spring up on those sunflowers. And deer are going to just annihilate those sunflowers if they get an opportunity.
And Gary's, we've had Hunter Mulligan on. Gary's our resident expert and knows a lot about, the forest and what the deer, especially when it comes to browse. One of the best things you can do for your place is a controlled burn.
Sure.
That's one of the best things you can do. Then that new browse sprouts up and gives them fresh something to browse and good greenery. And so that's something else we can talk about as well. We'll get Hunter on to talk about controlled burns. Now's probably the time to talk to him about some of that.
Well, last weekend, the Walmart Bass Fishing League, the Cowboy Division, had their Red River Tournament June the 14th, last Saturday. And the winner, is this a guy?
It's a guy.
Okay, because the name is Brooke Morrison.
Yeah, Brooke Morrison from Youngsville, Louisiana.
Okay, with a name like Brooke, I wasn't sure.
Yeah, I wasn't either.
One day, only took 13-12 to win the tournament.
They said the river, of course, I was in the Carolinas, didn't get to fish this event. I always fished the BFL and Red River and have done extremely well. Been top 4, top 5. I think I even may have finished second in one of these. And it's a great tournament, great anglers. But my good buddy, Nicky McNeely, who is from Natchitoches, as you can see, came in 4th. The bite was really tough. The river was jumping up and down a lot that week, Gary, even from the practice times. I guess there's so much rain that occurred over here north on the Texas-Louisiana border, Texas-Oklahoma border, excuse me. And when they get a lot of rain, like 2 or 3 inches at a time, that water eventually makes it down to Shreveport.
Yeah.
And the water jumps up down here. It takes about 5 to 7 days for that water to get here.
Right.
And or if they're dropping the lake at Texoma.
Mm-hmm.
Texoma Dam feeds our Red River system. A lot of people don't know that. And you can watch when they start releasing water at Texoma. Mm-hmm. It takes 7 days for that water to reach Shreveport.
Okay.
Pool 5.
Gotcha.
And then you can just kind of progress each day on down from there. But anyway, it was a tough bite. Mm-hmm. A lot of fluctuation in water levels. High in pool 3 one day, and next day they drop the bottom out of it, and they're transferring that water into 2 or 4 or whatever. And so they said the water fluctuation probably was the biggest reason where the weights were down. 13-4 came in second. 11-13 was third. Nicky McNeely from Natchitoches had 11-11. And so
I got to looking at it, just where we were as a state. Louisiana had the first 4 places there with Brooke finishing first from Youngsville, and then Montgomery. You had Shudrint, of course, Nicky McNeely from Natchitoches. But then you drop down in 8th place was Joshua Moore from Grand Cane. After Jim Tutt, everybody around here knows Jim Tutt, but he's from Longview.
Exactly.
You don't see a local boy again until you get to 20th place with John Lafitte from Keithville. Now, you did have Kevin, I don't know how to say your last name. Lazion from Dry Prong.
And Kevin Lazion's a stick. And when Kevin Lazion struggles, he's a friend of mine. He's fished the FLW Tour with the big boys.
Yeah.
Kevin's a great fisherman from Alexandria down there at Dry Prong. And when he doesn't come in with 10 plus, it's a tough day. He had 9.4. It's unusual for Kevin.
Now, is he fishing far south? You think?
He's probably. I don't think he's probably He's probably coming into 3 or staying in 3.
Okay.
I don't think Kevin locks into 2.
Yeah.
2 just doesn't get a lot of activity on fishermen locking down. It's either 3 or 4 when in these events go out of Natchitoches.
Okay, that's what I was going to ask you. Where are they launching?
3. They're launching in Natchitoches Grand Accor.
Okay.
So a lot of fishermen stayed in 3. Some probably locked into 4 up in the Coshada Pool.
Okay. Anything of note coming real soon on the Red?
I have a 2-day divisional championship out of Alexandria coming up July, I think mid-July, 11th and 12th, something like that.
Right.
A 2-day event. And then the regionals that I won in Oklahoma last year at Fort Gibson is on Red River this year.
Oh, wow.
Out of Alexandria. So I'm trying to qualify for that, and it looks like I'm going to make it. So I'm hoping in October, once again, I can maybe be a first guy to repeat as a regional.
Well, make sure you let us know so that, we can obviously, there's going to be a number of us that want to, follow that
we'll
see
keep
what's going on there.
Posted on that. But that's the next big thing that I'm aware of coming up on the river. It's just that time of year, Gary. The fishing tournaments are starting to die off, and everybody, it's hot. Everybody don't want to be out there all day. So it wouldn't bother me if they said no fishing in July and August as far as tournament. It wouldn't bother me a bit.
One thing you want to keep in mind, Louisiana Department of Wildlife and Fisheries hosting a 2-day summer camp.
Yes.
In Baton Rouge at the Waddell Outdoor Education Center. It's going to be this coming, I guess that'll be Monday through Friday of next week, June 23rd through the 27th.
Yeah.
And then again, July 21st through the 25th. Free of charge, kids 12 to 16. If your child is one of the top or one of the 25 selected for each camp, parents or a guardian is going to be able to drop them off between 7 and 8, then pick up the kid between 4 and 5. Obviously, probably not going to be many of the kids from our area, would be able to go do that just simply because it's in Baton Rouge. But it's cool that the LDWF is getting involved and being able to promote that to kids.
Boy Scout camp or something. You go down there for 5 days.
Well, you got to pick them up every day.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
That's a little bit of a big U-turn.
Yeah, it is a pretty good haul.
From Halton.
Yeah.
Every day. Stay close. We are hooking up and tracking down 11:30 the Tiger.
Crooks and straights, all out of me.
Toledo Fiberglass specializes in fiberglass restoration, offering fiberglass repair on all major brands of ski and bass boats. Al Drew and his staff will get you back on the water where you belong. Everything from metal flake scratches to recarpeting, Toledo Fiberglass can fix it. It's also home of the Gorilla Hull and the headquarters of the Minn Kota Talon Shallow Water Anchor System. So the next time you need fiberglass repairs or restoration, go see Toledo Fiberglass just off the Texas Highway or call 800-554-5452. Some things just stay the same, but not Toledo Town and Tackle. Still the best selection of tackle on the bend. Zoom dive with Gene LaRue and Santone. Now double the size of the original store, you have twice as much to choose from. With a new deli serving the best hamburgers, pizza, and soft drinks, you'll find something that's sure to fill your belly. They also have a great selection of tees and polo-style shirts. So stop in and treat yourself to the best tackle box on the bend. Toledo Town and Tackle on beautiful Toledo Bend Lake.
Rick Terrell here for Terrell Brothers Furniture in Natchitoches, where we've got 7-piece living room groups as low as $5.99. You heard right, 7-piece living room groups as low as $5.99. And we've got over 20 groups to choose from. So before you buy living room furniture anywhere, come to Terrell Brothers Furniture, 310 Texas Street in Natchitoches.
Hooking up and tracking down is on 1130 The Tiger. This segment presented by Toledo Town and Tackle, Gamakatsu Hooks, and Natchitoches Power Sports, your local North Louisiana power sports dealer. Now back to the boys who have more outdoors knowledge than Daniel Boone and Grizzly Adams combined. Steve, Gary, and Mike.
Here's your Mr. Twister's best times to fish for this weekend, starting Friday, June the 20th. Folks were coming off a full moon last week, so this week could be about a half moon and an early morning bite. Starting Friday morning, 6:03 till 9:03. On Saturday, 6:53 till 9:53. And on Sunday, 7:42 to 10:42. Go out there and catch a mess of fish. And this has been your Mr. Twister's best times to fish. Catch more fish more often.
7:42 to 10:42. Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Okay. And is that Saturday?
Sunday.
Sunday.
That's Sunday.
Is that AM, PM?
AM.
Okay.
It's an early morning bite this week.
So we're talking about the possibility. You know, Johnny was mentioning earlier on Lake Fork that he's looking for that topwater bite to turn on just about any time.
Yeah.
And this could be the weekend?
Oh, yeah. It's only a half moon, and so maybe another week away on that.
Okay.
The moon's been really bright.
Yeah.
And according to Gil Self, which we didn't really get into that much,
yeah,
the fish are starting. I've heard 2 or 3 reports off Toledo Bend at night, and they have been whacking them. They said that after the night bite has been off the chart.
Yeah.
And
well, he said he caught, 19?
Yeah. I mean, he went out himself and caught some, and I had 2 other buddies from Natchitoches that went out in separate boats and just whacked them over there. I have never done a night trip at Toledo Bend, and Gil said, hey, just call me. We will go. He said, you need to do that. He said the fishing over here at night's incredible.
One of my favorite lakes in the world to fish at night. Fish out of 1215. Yeah. And there's a couple of humps out there, especially out around the old Christmas tree.
Right.
And you get out around there. If there's any grass at all, you know, whether you got some old coontail or maybe some of that eel grass or something that's coming up, there are times you just
my best fishing trip of my life, believe it or not, was on Sibley Lake at night throwing a black buzzbait. I caught the biggest 5 and 6 pounders that I didn't even know existed on Sibley Lake at night. Me and a buddy of mine had a ball till about 11:30, and then it just stopped.
A lot of people don't realize how good of a fishery Lake Merval is at night, and this is the time of the year that it really kicks in really good on Lake Merval. In fact, I want to say that Merval was one of the first lakes in the state of Texas they ever stocked Florida bass.
Really?
One of the first 10 pounders ever caught in the whole state was out of Lake Merval. And, I mean, you're talking about right here at Carthage.
Yeah, just right around the corner.
I mean, just go whack them and have a great, great trip. Okay, brand new segment. You're going to have to fill me in because we're going to do the news. Is that we're going to give actual fact, not fishing stories? You want us to tell the truth?
It is outdoors related.
Okay.
You know, it's some stuff I've kind of found and put together, and
in the news.
And I saw this and I thought, in the news, that'd be a great.
We're going to do this every week.
Well, for a while.
In
the
news.
How it goes.
Okay.
As long as I
so Stinkbait tells us it's really bad.
As long as I can find information, this will be what we'll do. You want me to do the first one?
Well, of course.
All right. Concord, North Carolina. A deer ran into a hospital in Concord and was treated and released.
Okay, actually, you know what? I have seen that happen. It wasn't in Concord. It was in South Alabama.
Oh, really?
In Chatham, Alabama, a deer ran through a plate glass window in the hospital, ran through the hallways, and jumped out of another window and left out of there.
Made his presence known. Lord. Actually, the deer was tranquilized and released after it ran in through an open door Thursday in the Carolinas Medical Center, Northeast. Employees managed to herd the deer into a storage room where Cabarrus County Animal Control officers and Concord police tranquilized the deer and turned it over to the wildlife officer. The wildlife officer released the deer in the wild late Thursday afternoon. The deer apparently came out of the woods and jumped over hedges and landed on the hood of a car in the parking lot. The animal then ran onto a loading dock and through a door into the hospital. Officials said the deer never came close to any patients, and employees thoroughly cleaned the storage area after the deer was released.
Why does that happen? You know, you see that. Yeah, you know, people say all the time, "Well, we're encroaching more and more on the animals' areas and stuff like that. We're taking more of the." And
they say some of the best hunting
is in the city limits.
Exactly right. Is urban area. I remember that I read an article called "Urban Bucks."
Yeah, there's actually a TV show.
Killed.
Yeah,
is right there in your. I'm living proof. There's a herd of deer right there at my house. Mm-hmm. I could hunt them every day. Every single day.
Wow.
And I got a little patch of woods right there by my house, and they're in there all the time.
A lot of people don't realize that, in certain areas, as a subdivision or an area that is not necessarily heavily populated,
right.
but there's an adequate population there. As that area gets older and older and older and older, if you'll notice, the timber gets bigger.
Yeah.
You get a little more cover in those areas, and it really and totally unpressured, unmolested, the wildlife in that area really gets prolific.
Yeah.
And the next thing you know, you've got a problem.
Right.
Have you ever seen some of the episodes of some of the outdoor channels where the guys are actually hunting the antelope on the golf courses?
No, I ain't seen that.
Bow hunting, and I'm talking about
like Oregon and out. And
I want to say out, in the northwest in that area that.
Yeah.
They're
Oregon,
hunting
Utah.
antelope on the golf courses, and I'm talking about stupid big antelope that they're taking. It's like, I got a good one over there on 14.
Well, they can probably do damage on a golf green.
Oh,
hurting if they start feeding on a golf green.
I know that. It's probably been 10 years ago now. We had a really big problem here at the Rose Garden here. That one whitetail could go through there and do literally thousands of dollars worth of damage, eating all the roses at the Rose Center.
And a lot of times, what deer do is they don't necessarily eat them, but they'll bite the buds off and they'll just spit it out.
Yeah,
they just bite the buds off.
Yeah,
and ruin the plant.
Another story here: man delivers fawn with a pocket knife. How about that?
Good story here.
Bill Schultz was on his way home from church in Prior Lake, Minnesota, when he saw another motorist hit a deer. The deer went airborne, and Bill stopped to move it off the road. When he got to the deer, it was dead, but Bill was surprised to feel a fawn still kicking inside its mother's body. That little baby was just kicking inside. You could just see it. Its feet just pushing up on the belly. Quickly thinking and unsure of what else to do, Bill whipped out his pocket knife and cut the fawn free. I felt where the baby was, opened up, and pulled the baby out because the baby wanted to slide right out, and I cleared its throat, his airway, rubbing it, and it started breathing. Everything was cool, Schulte told radio station KSTP. Snapped a few photos of the newborn fawn before taking it to the Wildlife Rehabilitation Center in Roseville. Rehabilitators there expect the fawn to make a full recovery. One rehabilitator remarked that it's in remarkably good shape, and that her daughter has named the deer, what else? Bambi.
yeah. But isn't that a great story?
Man.
When I read that, I was like, now that is pretty freaking cool.
Have you ever come up on a brand new baby fawn?
No. I never, not just dropped. I mean, I'm probably 4 or 5 days old, maybe.
Hey, when that baby fawn gets up to that third day, for the first 72 hours, pretty shaky. You could probably get up too close, and especially if the mama was anywhere nearby.
Right.
But you could probably get your hands on it.
Right.
After that third day, I'm talking about outrun a motorcycle.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't imagine, in 4 days that thing can go from
that fast.
Yeah.
And can move that quick.
Good night.
Well, I don't know if you saw on Facebook, Charlie Thomas posted a picture. Old buddy Charlie.
Yeah.
He had a deer.
Yeah.
He almost ran over with his truck.
Yeah. And I'm going to tell you right now, I've seen several of them, that were in those early stages.
Right.
But once they see that the end of that third day, I'm telling you, you're not going to get anywhere near them.
Yeah.
Those jokers can haul.
That's incredible. But anyway, I thought those were some pretty good stories. And
in the news,
we'll have more of that to come down the road as we progress with that particular. You already talked about the summer camp. Oh, frequently asked questions. I wanted to do this, Gary, because these are questions that the common person, if they were involved in some of these situations, they wouldn't know what to do. So we're going to do this. This is from Texas, Wildlife and Fisheries. And these are Texas rules that we're going to go over. Not necessarily apply to Louisiana. We're going to try to get a game warden on or somebody to come on and talk to us about whether these same rules apply to deer or whatever the situation is here in Louisiana. A deer's been hit on the highway. What do I do? If a deer's
this is in the state of Texas.
The state of Texas.
Okay.
If the deer is just injured, call your local game warden dispatcher. I wouldn't think that'd be any different than Louisiana. I would think Louisiana do the same thing.
Yeah.
If you are absolutely sure the deer is dead, you may move it off the roadway and leave it there. Texas Department of Transportation will remove the dead animal. It is illegal to tag the deer or any game animal for that matter and take it with you. It's illegal to tag. You can't just pull your tags out and say, oh, I got me a deer.
Yeah.
You can't do that. So,
question number 2. I hit a deer last night. My friend told me that the Texas Parks and Wildlife Department will pay your deductible. How do I do that? The answer on that, they do not pay the insurance deductible for people who have hit a deer with their vehicle. I wouldn't think they would.
Yeah, and I'm sure Louisiana wouldn't.
Yeah.
I don't know who made that one up, but why would you think they would pay for that? That's crazy.
They own the deer.
Exactly. Number 3, what do I do about nuisance wildlife? That's a topic we've had on the show before in the past, and this is an interesting topic because I always like talking about this. Contact the Texas Wildlife Services Program. They handle public requests concerning nuisance wildlife for the state. Their main number is 210-472-5451. That's 210-472-5451. And they can put you in touch with your local representative. In other words, they have people, I think, all over the state.
Yeah.
Probably assigned to certain areas. And, if you got a deal in Mount Pleasant, they'll call Titus County guy and say, hey, we got a gator. And
I was wondering, what if you got an 8 or 10 foot gator?
Yeah, that's what
and you need attention like right now.
Yeah, they got people that come out.
He's about to eat my poodle.
And Louisiana has the same thing. Louisiana Department of Wildlife Fisheries will come out immediately. We've had one in our little pocket on Sibley Lake.
Yeah.
And we used to call a buddy of mine, he was a game warden, John Bernard. We call John, say, hey, man, we got a gator out here. And he'd come out and they'd bring a boat and they'd try to capture. Them suckers are hard to capture, though, in a big area.
Do you know in Louisiana, is it against the law for you as maybe the owner of the body of water, the pond or whatever, is it against the law for you to go ahead and kill that gator if you're really feeling threatened?
I think it has to be a threatening situation in order for you to justify doing that. Okay. So they don't like you doing that. I'd proceed with caution on that.
Okay.
The last one, I found an injured or orphaned baby bird or / animal. What do I do? Well, the best thing to do for both you and the animal is to contact a licensed wildlife rehabilitator in your area. Their names and numbers can be found on our website, Texas Parks and Wildlife website, Hunting and Wildlife Rehabilitators. And they will, and they're in your county. And if you can't find a contact the Texas Parks and Wildlife Department, and they'll make sure they get somebody out there. Again, you don't want to necessarily. If you find a fawn, they discourage you from picking that fawn up because they say the mother deer is probably close by.
Yeah.
She's just not right there on top of that fawn at the time. So just be careful when you know for sure that the mother's either abandoned the deer or the mother's been killed by accident, maybe on the roadway. Make sure before you may even stake it out for a while, see if she comes back.
One of the things we'd like to do is get with Louisiana Department of Wildlife and Fisheries and ask some of these same questions with them, and hopefully we'll get Roy Schufter or one of the other guys from the LDWF to come on the show with us in the next week or two and try to field some of these things, especially the legalities in regards to nuisance gators or things of that nature. And maybe you did come across a deer. Are you breaking the law if you do take it home?
Right.
Because you see that happen a lot where somebody finds a baby deer, they take it to the house, and the next thing you know, they're raising it. Have you actually broken the law? We'll try to get to some of those answers for you. Hooking up and tracking down. It's 11:30. The Tiger.
When I go shopping, I want camo, fishing tackle, guns, hunting gear, work clothes.
And when I go shopping, I want home decor, gifts, children's and baby clothes.
Fortunately, we can both get exactly what we need at the same place, Nichols.
All the name brands you can find in the big city without driving to the big city and paying big city prices.
Nichols, keeping folks happy since 1914.
Looking for a place to get away from it all? Look no further than Red River's Midway Marina in St. Maurice. Owners John and Kemp Nelson invite you to stop by for lunch or come in and rent one of several cabins for the weekend. RV hookups and a nice boat ramp that leads to some of the best skiing and fishing on Red River. Fully stocked bait and tackle store with gas pumps on and off the water. So book your next trip online, MidwayMarinaStMaurice.com or call 318-646-0097.
Hello everybody, Ranger Pro Staffer Steve Graff with the Hooking Up and Tracking Down Show. Folks, there's nothing I love more than my Rhino. I've had 3-wheelers, I've had 4-wheelers, but if you want the best of the best, you need to get you a Rhino 700 from Honda Yamaha Village right here in Natchitoches. My Rhino does more than take me to and from the deer stand. It is a great utility vehicle around your house. You can use it for all kinds of stuff, including yard work. I've got it loaded down right here. But one of the best features of the Rhino, it's got a dump bed right in the back of it. So go see the guys at Honda Yamaha Village of Natchitoches, Chip, Layton, and the gang over there, and let them show you the new Yamaha 700 series from Honda Yamaha Village right here in Natchitoches.
Legendary quality. At Ranger, it's an unparalleled commitment to incredible strength. With the industry's only pull-truded transom, we don't rely on the upper deck to support the transom and motor. It's a difference so strong, we sliced off this rear deck to show its independence from the transom. From total performance to your peace of mind. Cut open the whole story at rangerstrong.com.
Let's go eat at Honda's Steakhouse and Sushi Bar. They have all of our old favorites, or we could get something a little more exotic, like the Hibachi Grill, conveniently located at 814 Kaiser Avenue.
Hello, I'm Troy Umbehagen. We at Natchitoches Nursing and Rehabilitation proudly support and watch TV17's local programming.
This segment of Hooking Up and Tracking Down on 1130 The Tiger is presented by the Gear Grabber Lure Hanger System, Midway Marina and Red River Waterway. Find your next outdoor adventure on the beautiful Red River. One more time, here's Steve Graff, Gary McCoy, and Mike Eckel.
And welcome back here at the ranch, KWKH, 1130 The Tiger, home of LSU sports. Gary McCoy sitting to my left. Mike Eccles is in the Caribbean.
Far left.
Yeah, far or far right, whatever way you want to call it. He's sailing on a cruise ship down there, so hopefully everything will be all right with those guys. Hope he don't come back. Hope he don't come down some kind of food poisoning. You know, that happens on them cruise ships sometimes.
They had the cruise ship, last year?
Everybody
had to paddle. Everybody had to paddle back in. Lost electricity, no air conditioning.
That'd be Mike's trip. Real quick, Paul's Farm and Garden, one of our newest sponsors. Want to thank Paul for all his support. For all your farm and garden supplies, go see Paul's Farm and Garden on North Market here in Shreveport. Paul and his knowledgeable staff will answer all your gardening questions and make sure you have what you need to grow awesome vegetables or that great summer food plot for old Mr. Buck. That's Paul's Farm and Garden, a proud dealer in Purina products. Give them a call at 318-425-2222. That's 318-425-2222.
You know, next week, we were talking about this earlier, Lee Lakowski of The Crush with Lee and Tiffany, he's going to be telling us what to be planting for our deer food plots.
Yes.
Next week, when we have him on, be paying attention because that's what you're going to want to talk to Paul about.
Yep.
And what I found with Paul is you know what? If there is a particular product that he doesn't have, if he gets enough call for it, he's a good enough businessman. It'll be in the house pretty quick, and he can order it for you as well.
No doubt. And also, Gary, probably he's got a wealth of knowledge as to what's been successful around here in terms of food plots and what people have had a lot of success with. So I wouldn't mind picking his brain either.
You know, one of the things that Paul's going to tell you, and we see this issue time and time and time again, one of the biggest issues that we have around here is the acidity of the soil in Louisiana. We normally run around a 5.4. Well, you really want to try to get as close to that neutral, that 7.0, 7.2 mark as you possibly can.
Right.
And a lot of people don't realize that the difference between a 5.4 and a 5.5 is not 1/10. 5.4 is 10 times more acidic than a 5.5. Not 1/10,
right, exactly.
but 10 times. And so, you know, in order for that food to get all the nutrients that it's going to be able to get, you know, you can put all the fertilizer in the world out there and it's not going to get to where it needs to go unless you try to get that pH value up higher.
Exactly.
And so that's one of the things that Paul will tell you. And I'll tell you right now, he's got not only the pelletized lime, but he can help you out and get the ag lime, whatever you might need. And that's going to be one of the most important things that you can actually do for that food plot is to get that pH right.
Exactly. And he'll have all the answers for you there at Paul's Farm and Garden. So check it out and make sure you tell him you heard it on Hooking Up and Tracking Down.
Okay, they're fixing to draw down Black Lake.
Yeah, Gary.
Is this Salvinia related?
It's semi-Salvinia related. They said they hadn't drawn the lake down since 2007. And according to wildlife fishery biologist manager Ricky Yeldell, he said it's pretty much a straightforward drawdown. which hasn't been done on Black Lake, Clear Lake since 2007. He said there's been a problem with salvinia, but it's not a serious problem over there yet. He said we were blessed with a real winter, as we all know, which knocked a lot of the vegetation back this year that we have problems with in the past. The gates will open on July the 1st and will close no later than January the 31st to allow the lake to refill. Again, the problem, Gary, with Black Lake and them dropping the water level is they can only go so far. Let's see here. It says here they will draw it down, dewatering of 2 to 4 inches per day until Black Lake reaches lake level of 4.5 feet below pool.
Okay, now question for you. 2 to 4 inches a day.
Yeah.
They're pulling this lake down. Will it have a natural current in the lake while they're doing that? I mean, will you be able to look for some current fish?
On the northern end, I would think it would start to pull water out, and it would create a greater current on the very far north end of the lake versus the south end. Probably be a little more gradual. The old Red Chute area that me and you are very familiar with, and the current holes in the Red Chute, especially as it empties into the prairie, which takes you down to the dam. I would think that area right there would also have some current. Is it going to be enough to hold fish? I don't know. I just know when they pull these lakes down like that, the fishing turns on. This really turns on. The fish stack up.
Yeah.
And we all know about the bridge at Black Lake. It's kind of a community hole. The bridge will be created to be some current because, again, Black Lake, Clear Lake funnel down like an hourglass.
Right.
And that bridge is the middle of the hourglass there, and that water, it's going to create some current through that little cut right there, and it's going to hold fish.
Now, if you get on a topwater bite in the prairie and they start this drawdown, you're just about going to be fishing dry ground there. It won't take long because, of the amount of hydraulic, the grass, and everything that's growing down in that area.
I don't even know if you'll be able to get across the prairie. It'll probably go dry.
Okay.
I would think. But again, Black Lake has a restriction on how far they can draw it down because of the height of the dam, unless they resort to pumping water out.
Okay.
And they've never done that before. So, but anyway.
So beginning July 1, fishing might get good for a little bit on Black Lake.
Yeah, it really could. So go out there, catch your mess of fish. And again, don't abuse the opportunity.
Sure.
Just keep what you can eat.
Yeah.
Put the rest back, and let other people catch them. And but that's that's where I have an issue sometimes with the wildlife and fisheries and the game wardens, is that they don't police these things, to me, the way they should. I've witnessed personally myself at a convenience store off Black Lake, pulled up, all these people hovered around the back end of a pickup truck. Well, I'm thinking somebody ran over a big buck or somebody's killed a deer. Well, I walk up. No, it's 5 ice chests. The guy's got ice chests full of fish, and they're categorized by weight. 1 to 2 pounders in the first chest, 3 to 4 pounders in the second chest, 5 to 6 pounders in the second one, and 6 and above in all these other ones. And I'm just
like, bass?
Oh yeah, loaded, full, and nobody's policing it. And I'm like, you can't replace once those fish come out. There's no, again, I don't have a problem with the smaller fish.
Yeah.
But when you got 6+ fish and you got an ice chest full of 7-8 pounders.
Wow.
Those don't get there overnight.
Right.
So that's what bothered me. It wasn't the little fish that really bothered me.
Yeah.
It was the big fish that nobody policed it.
Any word on Bistineau?
I hadn't heard a word. Now, Randy Fairney, of course, Mike and them had their championship there.
Right.
And the fishing, from what I heard, was just outstanding.
Sure.
They had a great tournament. And like Mike said, just me and Mike talking one-on-one, he said, could not probably have gone to a better place in this area right now for fishing. He said, just could not have picked a better lake.
Wow.
The weights were up. The fishing was good. He said, guys caught fish and had a good tournament.
Okay. Well, the word I'm getting on the street right now is that the lake to be on right now is Caddo. The guys are stroking.
I'm glad you said that.
Yeah, Paul Keith had those.
42-pound bag.
Yeah,
with his best 5. Of course, Paul Keith is legendary around here as well. Great guys on Caddo. Great angler. And but what I was going to tell you, last night I watched Scott Martin challenge, and he had the boys from Airline.
Oh, Cameron Madison
and his partner.
Yeah,
and they did a great job, and it was a great episode. I really enjoyed watching. First time I'd seen it. It's a testament to how good Caddo
I wonder
is.
what Scott felt like with having a high schooler kick his tail.
Yeah, well, they went for big fish only, and but Scott and them caught their share of fish. They caught some really good quality fish, and and he attacked it a little differently than I've seen anybody else attack it before. I was a little surprised.
How so?
He wasn't flipping cypress trees necessarily. He was attacking stumps that he could see on his side imaging off underwater. That's the stumps he was isolated on.
Time to wrap things up. Hey, thank you for hanging out with us.
That's right, man. Appreciate it, man. We appreciate all the listeners and viewers. And real quick, Mike Eccles will be back next week. This is the time of year the sun can be really hard on rods and reels as they lay on the deck of a boat in 90-plus temperatures. But one thing fishermen tend to overlook is protecting their fishing line on their reels. Sun damage can weaken fishing line rapidly when exposed to extremely high temperatures and UV rays. One thing I always do this time of year is to make sure my reels are turned upside down when lying on the deck of the boat. This protects my fishing line from direct sunlight and keeps them a little bit cooler, helping them to eliminate sun damage. Till next week, may God bless. We'll see you next week with more Hooking Up and Tracking Down.
Did you notice some brands sending out trophies from 2006 at boat shows this year? Really? It's like wearing your high school letterman jacket to a job interview when you're 30. But if other brands are going to raise the issue of awards, no matter how old they may be, we're happy to join the conversation. When it comes to awards, Sea Ray is in a class all its own. Sea Ray is the most awarded boat brand ever. Bayou Outdoor Supercenter has yours waiting for you. Bayou Outdoor Supercenter is Louisiana's family-owned RV and marine dealer.
Rick Terrell here for Terrell Brothers Furniture in Natchez, where we've got 7-piece living room groups as low as $5.99. You heard right, 7-piece living room groups as low as $5.99. We've got over 20 groups to choose from. So before you buy living room furniture anywhere, come to Terrell Brothers Furniture, 310 Texas Street in Natchitoches.
We love it. It's so much fun. It's exciting.
Esto es vida.
Why do I have to wear a life jacket?
We wear it to be safe.
I've got mine on.
We're teaching our kids about safe boating.
Cogí un pescado así de grande.
We all love this life.
Wear it and love the life. This message brought to you by the National Safe Boating Council.
Welcome to this week's Hooking Up and Tracking Down Tip of the Week. I'm Ranger Boat Pro Staffer Steve Graff, and I'd like to show you some tips today for when you hit the bodies of water that the wind conditions are really bad. The big waters like Toledo Bend, Sam Rayburn, they are absolutely unbelievable at times on destroying equipment on a boat on windy days. I'm going to give you a few tips right now to show you how to keep from possibly losing your trolling motor as well as your rods and reels. One of the things I carry in my boat, even though most Minn Kotas and all your Motor Guide trolling motors have good lockdown systems, when you get in heavy water, heavy waves, it's nothing for a big wave to come over the boat, knock the trolling motor up out of its, unlock it, and completely take a trolling motor off the boat. I was in a tournament a month ago, 3 trolling motors were knocked completely off of boats. One thing I do, and I always bring, is an extra bungee cord. I take my bungee cord and I'll wrap it around the head of my trolling motor. Like so. I wrap it 2 times and basically just hook it, the rope to itself. After I've wrapped my trolling motor with my bungee cord, now I'm going to use the pop-up boat tie downs to hook my bungee cord. I simply hook it through the center and it's there. It's not going anywhere. Trolling motor won't leave the boat. It's going to stay right here. It keeps the trolling motor anchored down solid. So that's one of the things that I like to do. And it's just, sometimes it's not necessary, but other times it is. The other thing that's very important, make sure the next time you get ready to head on the water also that your Velcro strap for your trolling motor is in very good shape. You want it to be able to hold the trolling motor head down and lock it sucker down where it will not move, okay? The next thing, one more tip I'm gonna give you. I'm gonna move this out of the way temporarily. Now, also, more rod and reels are lost on rough water. They just pop out of the boat. Ranger makes a rod tie down right here. All you do is clip it in, your rods are safely secured, they're going absolutely nowhere. So make sure when you head on the rough water, make sure you bring a little extra bungee cord, make sure your Velcro strap is in really good shape, and make sure you use your rod tie downs on your boat. That's this week's Hooking Up and Tracking Down Tip of the Week.
Good morning, this is Sheriff Victor Jones. I need your help. I need your help to help me keep you safe. One of the ongoing problems, you know, technology is good, but one of the problems that we're seeing, an increasing problem, is texting while driving. I encourage all of you to help us to keep you safe by not texting while driving. Thank you.
You've heard the old saying, good things come to those who wait. Well, Natchitoches, the wait is over. John Abraham has just opened the best hunting and fishing store in Natchitoches. Cypress Knee Outdoors, located on Highway 6 west off I-49, has everything a hunter and fisherman could want. Top name brands Zoom, Santone, Pelican, V&M, and the new Uzo baits, as well as hunting brands like Primos, Duck Commander, Hoyt, and Federal. So don't drive to Shreveport Ellick anymore. Go see the guys at Cypress Knee Outdoors or call them at 238-HUNT.
You're watching KNTS Digital 19 in Natchitoches, Louisiana.